Right now, you are following rules, not laws, not commandments. Something quieter. The way you lower your voice when an elder enters the room. The guilt after a small lie. The pull toward duty you cannot fully explain. What if those were not instincts? What if they were instructions, written more than 3,000 years ago by people who had already figured out how your mind works? That is not a metaphor. It is a measurable fact. Your brain is running on ancient code, and that code was written in India. The Vedas, composed between 1500 and 1200 BCE, were not just religious texts, they were behavioral systems. Dr. Subhash Kak, a cognitive scientist at Oklahoma State University, argues that the rishis who wrote them were rigorous observers of the human mind. The hymns they composed were not prayers alone. They were compressed algorithms for living, designed to be stored in the body through sound and repetition. Consider the Dinacharya, the ancient Indian daily schedule described in Ayurvedic texts. It prescribed waking before sunrise in the window called Brahma Muhurta, fixed meal times, movement, stillness, and silence each assigned to a precise hour. Modern chronobiology, the science of biological time, has confirmed that following exactly this kind of rhythm improves memory, emotional stability, and long-term health. Your ancestors were not being mystical, they were being exact. The code goes deeper than daily routine. It reaches into how you make moral decisions. Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist at NYU, identified 6 universal moral foundations present in every human society: care, fairness, loyalty, authority, sanctity, and liberty. When he examined ancient philosophy, the concept of Dharma mapped almost perfectly across all 6. Dharma is usually translated as duty, but it means something closer to your correct function within a larger system. Your role, your obligation to the web of relationships around you. Your brain runs this calculation automatically. Who you owe, what is expected of you. The ancient Indians gave that calculation a name and a structure. Kautilya, who wrote the Arthashastra around 300 BCE, went further. He understood that people do not act on pure reason. They act on desire, fear, habit, and identity. He knew people follow rules not only when enforced, but when the rule feels like theirs. Behavioral economists would describe the same idea 2,000 years later. Kautilya got there first. Here is the part that changes everything. Traditions persist not because of authority or fear. They persist because of neural entrainment. When you repeat a behavior with the same sensory cues, same sounds, same smells, same gestures, your brain stops treating it as a decision. It becomes a default. And defaults cost almost no mental energy. Dr. Richard Davidson, a neuroscientist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, found that long-term meditators show measurable growth in the prefrontal cortex, the region governing attention and emotional regulation. The brain physically changes. The ancient sages who sat in stillness for years were not escaping the world. They were rebuilding their brains. Then they compressed the method into daily rituals so ordinary people could access it too. That method became your habits. The discomfort when you eat before offering food to an elder. The prayer before a meal that does not feel optional. The specific chant that settles your nervous system in a way no argument can. These are not superstitions. They are the surface of a behavioral architecture designed precisely for the human nervous system and refined over thousands of years. There is a Sanskrit word, Samskara, a mental groove carved by repeated experience. Neuroscientists call the same thing a synaptic pathway. The ancient Indians already knew the mind is not fixed. That repetition reshapes it. That what you do consistently becomes who you are. You did not choose these rules. They chose you. Carved into your neural architecture by generations before you were born. Passed not through genes, but through kitchens and morning routines and the habits of the people who raised you. And knowing that does not make them less real. Knowing your sense of duty was encoded 3,000 years ago does not make the duty disappear. Knowing the calm of a morning ritual is a neurological response does not make the calm any less calm. Right now, you are following rules. You always have been. The only difference is, now you know exactly who wrote them.